Oops.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm recording. Boom.
That was really loud.
Just like that.
I thought you got a new
With
clap
authority.
I did.
Welcome to
Is
the
that
Lift Heavy
new
Run
one?
Long podcast,
Okay.
episode number 117 with Melisa Burgess. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. This podcast might or might not be censored. We're going to go into that because I don't know how I feel about the censorship thing. You know, it keeps coming around.
In that.
Well,
it keeps coming around.
I have something to say about that.
Okay, let's talk about it now.
Something I was going to say is I'm obsessed with iTunes and their rankings on iTunes, and we just can't stay. It's weird because in the morning you could be in the top 200, and then in the afternoon you don't even show up on there at all.
The iTunes listeners are a fickle bunch.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's just that nobody knows how iTunes does their analytics or whatever. But what I'm saying is
design.
All the people that are always in the top, they all have explicit lyrics.
They do. It doesn't seem to make any difference there.
Right.
Well, and I don't know that I care so much about the explicit lyrics as it was a moral or ethical dilemma for me. That
Sure.
I had an obligation to
How about
keep
we
it
put
clean
it to the people?
Okay, that's fair
Should
enough.
we
No, I
curse
think
on
that we
the
should decide
podcast?
for ourselves. I mean, if it,
Yeah.
I made a blog.
Screw the people.
Yeah.
I made a blog
Yeah,
post.
we don't care what they think.
I made a blog post and I used a lot of foul language, and I used a lot of foul language because I was very emotional about the blog post.
Sure.
And I caught a little bit of flack from one particular individual.
Really?
And it made me think about what a double standard I'm operating on. And Amanda pointed out that it was weird that I that I censor the podcast, but I talk like trash on the Daily Dumbbell, and I talk like trash.
Oh, do you
in
say bad
person.
words on the Daily Dumbbell?
Yes.
Okay.
He
But I
does.
don't self-promote the Daily Dumbbell. So
Okay.
I figure that's sort of a distinction and a freedom point for me
Okay.
where I can write freely and not have to worry about being associated with that.
Right.
My mother-in-law read the Daily Dumbbell thinking that it was actually me being interviewed and was very upset with the language that I used in response to the questions. Like, it was, at first I didn't know what she was talking about, and I was like, oh no, he made that up. Like, that was not,
That was not a
yeah,
real
that was
story.
not really what happened. She's like, oh, thank God.
And so I'm comfortable
fine.
using that language there because that's part of why I write it, is because I want the freedom to, express myself in that way. I don't generally curse very much in my blog because I want to write somewhat intellectually, and there is a trick to that, being able to
Right.
write well without using.
Well, there's a
Explicit
trick to that in real life. Like, and the comedians talk about this a lot. The good ones, like, if you come, a lot of comedians will come out and just be like, just drop every curse word and dirty thing they can possibly say because they need that to be
It's
funny.
the shock factor.
But if you're a good comedian, you don't really need to do that.
Very
you
true.
know? Right.
And so I hear people on podcasts, and I think those guys just sound like kids who are excited to have a microphone, so they just say,
Right.
they just use a bunch of curse words, and I hate it. And then I turn around and I think, well, here I am using such a double standard that I'm also asking everybody that comes on the show and participates on the show to not use foul language instead of just using whatever language you want to use.
So let's just think about like the feedback we've gotten, just like the 5-star reviews or any reviews. It seems like most of them are saying like they're listening to it while they're running. They're listening to it at times. I've never seen somebody say, we love listening to it while we take the kids to school.
Right. When we sit down for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. We don't turn on the podcast when we sit down for dinner.
I don't turn on any podcast when I have kids in the car at all.
So I'm not going to censor the podcast.
Okay.
Is that good?
I think that's awesome. I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
Amanda?
Okay. That's up to you. I'll follow whatever you want.
I personally am offended by cussing.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't think there's one that I could listen to with my kids in the car.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
Yeah. You know what you can do with the kids in the car? As a matter of fact, you can do it anywhere
Talk to
if
your
you
kids.
want.
Leave a 5-star review.
You can leave a 5-star review.
While you're driving.
And you can also do the body weight workouts that are on the LHRL app.
Wait a
That's
minute.
right.
We
In
have
your
an
car?
app?
Because we have a Lift Heavy Run Long app. I want to tell you about it. Would you
How's
like to hear
how's
about
the
it?
app going?
For $3.99 a month, you can have 4 WODs delivered to your calendar every week, along with 4 barbell strength exercises and 3 body weight exercises that you can do anywhere you want. Find a flat surface and do them. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to any and all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. Everything from 5K to 100-mile races to Spartan races to triathlons, all kinds of stuff.
There's a deadlift program on there.
A deadlift program, recalibration program if you've lost your
that's
mojo.
right. Yes, there is.
And I should clarify this because I've caught a little flack a couple different times when I say that it's full access, that it's unlimited access to all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. It's not unlimited because the app will only allow 1 program at a time.
So if you're a program hopper, you have to be a program hopper.
Now you can change programs whenever you want, but a particular individual who happens to appear to have an app that he's building, a fitness app, who was very he couldn't understand why he couldn't look at all of the workouts. Like if he's going to do a program, he wants all the workouts, and he doesn't want to do a program until he knows what workouts they're going to be. Well, what he's looking for is to take the programs, and have these templates.
Oh, right.
For his own stuff.
Yeah,
And
he wants
so-
to pay.
He wants to be able to download a
And
spreadsheet
so
or
the
PDF.
part of
and then
the
cut his subscription off.
part of
and
the point
not
of
have to
having
pay for it.
$9.99 a month is that if you do a 3-month program, then
Right.
you're in it for 3 months.
Well, let me also add to that, and something that is, I think, very important, which is you don't get commercials or stupid Dollar Shave Club ads in this podcast.
That's true.
And that is a legitimate way for you to support this podcast, because I think it's a great podcast, and I would rather not do commercials, in the middle of our hour of talking to an individual. You can get a full hour of us talking. Yes, we talk about our app and we plug that, but we have fun doing that, and that's even an interesting conversation. So either, we could do a Patreon or something, but screw that. Like, we have an app. If you want to support the podcast, go sign up for the app. Even if you don't want to look at the workouts, just do that.
Do we have a donation spot on our page?
We don't.
We don't, but we have a significant number of LHRL supporters who are signed up for the app who've never even seen it.
Right. I mean, you can pay for a whole year for how much?
For $39.99.
$39.99, and there you go.
Brian Williams has never peered
and
at that
they
app.
probably won't.
My mother has not looked at that app.
Right.
Melisa Burgess has never looked at that app. David Lomax does not look at that app.
And
However,
that's cool, man.
I
think
downloaded
that's
the app.
they want.
I did too.
You've been on
It's
there.
on my phone.
So that's how it works.
But it's a legit app, and if you need a training program and a coach, it's pretty darn cheap to sign up for and have the programs. It's also pretty darn cheap to sign up just to support us so that we can come out here every week and put out a good podcast.
But what if somebody needs
go.
fitness and they can't afford it?
then that's when you email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. So if you know someone who needs fitness in their lives and they can't afford $3.99 a month, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and we are more than happy for you to use the app.
We will accept your
free of
5-star
charge.
review as payment.
5-star review will work if somebody can do that. If anybody will do that, that would be great, because those just mean so much. And we may or may not have reviews to go on tonight. But since we're talking about 5 stars, I want to introduce my dime of a wife over here,
10 stars.
10 stars.
Aw.
Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, also known as Jacked and Tan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're looking well,
Thank you.
as always.
I feel good.
Quite jacked and tan.
Thank
should
you.
add.
Yes.
Nutrition going well.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I'd say more than pretty good. Seems to be going like fire.
Yeah. I'm
Staying
locked
on
and
track.
loaded.
You're
I
locked
am.
and loaded.
Yep.
I know we've been doing our check-ins in our private channels.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing pretty well. I'm slimming down, trimming back down again. So I weigh in with Cindy a couple of weeks. So I'll be calibered and checked, and we'll find out official numbers soon.
awesome.
Next to Amanda, we have our friend Melisa Burgess.
Hello.
Everybody's friend Melisa Burgess.
Yay.
Everybody in Lift Heavy Run Long knows Melisa Burgess. I think you and Crystal Irwin stand out as much as anybody as far as really supportive people in the group.
Thank you.
That's right.
Which
I
is
appreciate that.
Crystal Landers. Her last
Yeah.
name is
Landers.
Crystal Irwin Landers.
Yes. I don't like when people, not that I don't like it, but it gets confusing when people use all the different names on Facebook so that you'll know who they were. You know what I mean? Like women in particular, like they use their maiden names.
Not all
and
of us
then
could just
their-
be called the Reverend, and people know who we're talking.
That's right. Not all of us can have a nickname,
Speaking of,
a famous nickname.
Melisa, how are you?
I'm very well.
Thank you for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Yes.
I'm excited. The
Yes.
last time you asked me to be here, I made myself too busy because I didn't feel worthy.
I know this.
So I feel like I've kind of come full circle.
Yep. So
being
you've
here.
been invited 3 or 4 or 5
I have.
times, and we beat down the walls of excuses, and now we're here.
That's
It's
right.
because we got 100,000 downloads.
That's right.
She finally
Now people
decided
want
we're
to come on
worthy.
the show.
It's true.
And next to Melisa, we have the Reverend
Hey,
Vaughn Rawls.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Got an anniversary coming up.
I do. Yes.
When is that?
The 5th, tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
How many
Is that
years?
right? 16.
16.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It is. We're going to the beach.
Yeah. Which beach?
Pensacola Beach.
All right.
Yeah.
oh, I should call my parents for you. They're buying a house down there.
Okay. Is it bought already?
No,
Maybe next time.
Maybe
they
next
probably have room in the RV for you. Though.
For sure. Yeah. They don't-
And behind the camera, we have the best looking cameraman in the business, the big thirsty, Brian Swanson.
I haven't brought my big gulp with me today.
Was the Taco Bell Whole 30? No. Okay.
No, he's
The
done.
whole
with
the whole
Bobby.
third.
I'm
We're
off
just gonna
track.
we're
I'm
just
off
gonna
track.
skip right on over that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Aren't we? And I want you to take note of how I've skipped right over that. I don't think that you would have given me the same leniency on. Certainly would not have given Vaughn the same leniency on your whole 30 attempt.
My whole 7?
Your whole 7 with a break in the middle.
Right.
Turn back to whole 1. Turn back to wholly not excited about this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But you had some.
appreciate
You
it.
had some. You had some days.
Hiccups along the way.
There's
That's
something
right.
too. He does what he wants.
He does what he wants.
And he looks great.
The
so
man's
whatever,
looking good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
whatever
so
you're
argue-
doing,
I had an epiphany this week that when I meet a new girl that I'm interested in, I'm going to bring you around, Wilson. So because you talked me up so well, so I'm just gonna just be like, hey, this is my
You should
friend
just
Wilson.
have him follow you around like your confidence
He's gonna tell you.
manager.
He's gonna tell you about me, and if you're interested after that, then we'll talk.
Let me carry
Hey,
around
Wilson,
a little snare
go
drum.
talk to that girl, and then when you're done with her, go talk to that girl.
You ever seen the movie Rudy, where Rudy has to
Yeah,
for John Favreau?
for
he has to
Debo,
go-
or
yeah,
whatever his name
what
is.
is that? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you're gonna be that guy.
I
for
could
me.
be that for you, or I could just carry around a snare drum like they do. Like you remember that in the
Ooh,
Starbucks
I like
commercial, it was
that.
like Doug, 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 Doug. I'd just be there pumping you up. All
Play
the
my
time.
theme music.
Yep,
I appreciate
I'm here
that.
for you, man.
appreciate
And we have an audience.
We do.
We do.
We have behind sitting behind
For 2 weeks in a row.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ms. Abby Rawls.
She had so much fun. She wanted to come back.
And she's also doing some labor back there. She decided that she would be willing to fold up some Lift Heavy Run Long T-shirts in exchange for a T-shirt,
All right.
which I'm sure she knows that she can take as many T-shirts as she needs, seeing as how her father owns the company. However, it was helpful for me to get those rolled up because those have been sitting in that box. for
This
a
is
long
what
time.
children.
If
This
you-
is why we have kids.
Yeah.
You
Right.
could have
There's-
seen
I
the
can't-
eye roll that Wilson gave when he was talking about having to eventually roll those shirts. She was just like, "I'll do it."
I don't know if anybody out there's ever messed with shirts or sold shirts for any reason at all, but you know they're the least profitable things in the world, especially if you don't have people pay for them, and they're really a pain when you have to fold them up and keep inventory, and it's a lot. So thank you, Abby. The Daily Dumbbell. If you have time and want to read something funny and satirical, go to dailydumbbell.com, which is the most trusted source for fake news in the fitness industry. Amanda, you mentioned something earlier that we need to be pushing the heck out of selling Lift Heavy Run Long hoodies because it's hoodie season.
Definitely.
Yes, it is. And those
I
hoodies are
completely
golden.
agree.
Those hoodies are golden. Those are some of the coolest things that Vaughn put those out one year for whatever reason.
St. Jude.
Was that
I
what
did
it
it.
was?
Is that what
I
it
did
was
it.
originally?
Yep, I did it
Wow.
a couple of years. That's why they're red, because I'm a hero for St. Jude, and
You're just a hero.
I am a lot of people's hero, and so I thought red was a good color for a hero, and I made those on Teespring or whatever, and I thought they were cool, and people loved them and
Yeah.
bought them, and so that was really good.
Yes, it is hoodie season, so I recommend.
we
Yep.
definitely need.
the
I would love
coolest
to have
hoodie
another
ever.
one of those. Abby took mine, and my daughter took mine, and I haven't ever seen it again.
Well, we got them at liftheavyrunlong.com. You can go
There
and
you go.
order yourself a hoodie. Those are certainly not something you want to keep inventory in because that's a lot. That's
No.
a lot of
That would
space,
be
a lot
a
of
lot.
money.
Yeah.
We're not on that level. Guess what I got?
What you got a review? I haven't even looked.
Thank you.
All right. I'm
Has anybody else looked? Y'all peeked
I'm
at the
excited. I
reviews?
can't wait to hear it. Is it 1 star or no?
No, it's 5 of them,
5.
Is
Yeah.
it Kate?
but it might be more than one review.
Oh, no
Is it
way.
Kate
It's because I put
Hansa?
on
We have 2.
Instagram to go and do it.
Probably. Okay.
Social media is on fire lately, by the way, dude.
It is.
Thanks to the Reverend.
Crushing it. He's crushing
Vaughn
it on social.
2.0 is here. He's here to stay.
Making
We're not
stuff
letting him
happen.
go
He is.
anywhere.
The code has been, for Vaughn 2.0, has been pushed to production, and
That's good.
it's here.
I'm loving
Yeah.
it, man. I mean, it really
Fine.
makes a difference.
We're still fixing a couple of little bugs, but
Well, we'll always be doing that, but as long as we're moving forward, that's good.
At the point it gets to production, it's a feature, not a bug.
that's all right. We're still working on some features.
5-star review, What I've Needed to Hear by Hollis Trim. Great people to listen to. Love the motivation and the real talk on what each of the hosts is doing as far as training. The subject matter is relevant for the beginner and seasoned vet in the workout realm. Keeps me laughing, motivated, and entertained while in the car. Wilson, you make us slow runners look good.
I know who that person is.
You do?
And she's been supporting, like she's been posting in the group and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So I love it when people do that. It's like every once in a while a person will just pop in that just all of a sudden participates and supports everybody.
Yeah.
Not unlike our guest. But you know what I mean? So I recognize that name. So anywho.
Awesome.
Thank you for that review.
And the next one is, she has done what every guest we would like
Promised
to
to do.
have them.
Yes, Kate. I knew
Dude.
she'd come through.
Our friend, she's
Well,
like our best friend now. She's
Yeah.
everybody's
She knew
She
she,
is.
she knew she was going to see us tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, whatever works. You know,
Yes. All right.
fun listen with great information for anyone who wants to improve their fitness. 5 stars by Kate Strickling. A fun crew with great conversations and helpful information. I try to lift heavy, and these guys just convinced me to do some crazy runs with them. They're funny and inspiring. Must listen.
There you go.
All right, Kate, we'll see you tomorrow at the 24-hour race.
That's awesome.
3 things right quick. The Chris Hope Foundation 5K and 10K is this Saturday. Get signed up and join Team LHRL. Big Hill Pond Walking Tall is October 20th. The 25K is sold out.
We're going to be at the aid station for North Mississippi Endurance with Tailwind. I'm
We need to
excited
talk about that. Now,
We
that
do.
is yours.
It is mine.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Like, you are expected to get the volunteers and have everybody set up and ready
Yes,
to go.
I learned that. Yes, I did.
Okay, I talked to Brian today, and we were just making sure that I told him I'd reiterate with you and make sure that everybody's on the same
Yeah,
page.
no, it kind of got weird on Facebook yesterday where Sean was like, well, we're sending out a thing, it's all taken care of. And I was like, well, does that mean you don't need me to be there or what? So he sent me a message today and cleared all that
clarified.
up. So, yeah. So it's all good. I'm excited. I'm going to be there. And I got Kathy Owens is going to help.
Good.
And anybody else that wants to help, hit me up. But
Sean's delegation game is on point if I've ever seen one.
Right.
He said, I want to show a movie on Friday night of Walking Tall at the race.
Right.
And he sends me a text and he says, you know that big screen, big inflatable screen and movie projector? I said, yes. He said, if you can get that and bring it to Walking Tall, that'd be great. I was like,
The one we have at the gym?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's Mac Garner's.
And I've talked to
Yeah,
him.
okay.
And he's going to come pick it up.
Cool.
But he's good at just kind of put it out there and I'm going to do this, but you handle it.
You're in charge of the movie.
So, and you're in charge of the aid station.
Yes, I am.
So
I
you
am.
got it.
I'm on top of it. Yes, sir.
All right. But they supply the stuff. They've got the food.
Yeah, I don't have to bring the stuff.
Just the people.
Yeah, no, I just have to make sure it's everything.
But you have to be the stuff. You have to be the motivation
Yeah.
for 300
Yeah, there was
people.
a video posted of a highly motivational
Yes.
person
I saw that.
Did you see him?
encouraging
I saw that.
people to run.
Overtake them.
That dude.
Overtake.
awesome.
That dude, he doesn't have shit on me.
You're gonna have to show it. You're gonna have to get out there, Bloody Marys by 8 a.m. for
Can't
sure,
wait.
and down to the beer by noon.
It
if
will
you're gonna
be-
pull people in at 3:30.
It will be fun. For sure.
Are you gonna be the last aid station?
I have no clue. I think I'm in the middle. Is there a middle?
What if you're tasked with the duty of pulling me from the course?
I was just about to say
Oh,
that. Then
you're-
you'll let
oh.
us go, dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm,
There'll be people
Yeah.
spread out
We
dead
should
all
stop-
over
we
that
should
course.
stop
Yeah.
recording.
that's not my. That's not
Yeah, let's
my,
talk
hey,
about this
my
after.
job to support people and get them on their way, not cut
Not
them
pull
from
'em.
the course.
Yeah.
I haven't. Hey, nobody's told me anything other than you're in charge. So if I'm in charge, there you go.
We get to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Carol's Memorial Wide is October 13th for Stage 4 Breast Cancer Day. That's coming up on us quick
Next weekend.
At
Where
Olive
is it?
Branch CrossFit.
at Olive Branch CrossFit.
That's right.
So,
I'm trying to get
I'm very excited
Spoon
about that.
and Richard to come to that.
well, Spoon and Richard owe me a visit because I went up there looking for them last Saturday.
I was going to say, I coached last Saturday, and Beefcake came in because he was not going to go hang out with his F3 buddies.
It's because you
Back
were
this
there,
week.
not me. He won't come when I'm there.
No, he was avoiding his F3 buddies, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd had a long week.
Oh, the
After your
the
big
rock,
weekend?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so your buddies didn't show up.
Yeah, I got onto him. So I talked to him today.
How many people did we have there last? That was like 6 or 7 people. It wasn't a big group, but
It wasn't a big group.
He said he's scared that everybody's going to be doing pull-ups and he can't do one. I was like, that doesn't matter.
Well, then just tell him when he
if
shows
they
up, there
do.
won't be pull-ups.
Yeah, take pull-ups
Well, I mean,
out
that's
of the
why
equation.
CrossFit's scaling. I mean, you can scale anything.
Well,
we
if
have,
it'll
we have
make him
70 and
come.
80-year-old grandmas coming in there and doing stuff.
Tell them to quit making up excuses and just come
Yeah,
to the gym.
it's- Excuse.
I know.
Golly.
Please tell me about
He's
being
a
the
security
Marines
guard.
and stuff. Well, he used to be in the Marines.
Yeah.
I told
I
that
was
girl.
like, man.
There was a girl in the group that posted her video of squatting, and I was trying to help her a little bit. And I was like, "Hey, you know what? Go find a CrossFit gym
I saw
because,
that.
like, that's the best place to go. Honestly, if you really want to learn to squat and lift weights, that's probably your best bet if you can find a good gym." And she was like, "Nope, not doing that."
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
No way.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
For any particular reason? Or just no?
She just
Because
wasn't
Wouldn't do
Vaughn's
it.
tone.
Probably
the way he said it.
Probably.
She
His
was
tone
almost
via
there,
Facebook?
probably.
Yeah, that was it.
That's one of the features of On 2.0. I'm still working.
Yeah.
Get that bug out. Or is
Yeah.
that a production thing also?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about our friend Melisa Burgess. We got a lot
Yeah.
to talk about.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. You know what I'm going to do? I don't usually do this,
Yeah.
but I want to read your bio.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it without getting overcome with emotion. I swear I've read it probably 10 times, and every time I get choked up. I think it's
Oh,
great.
and you usually share it
Well,
with us in
thank you.
advance, and it has not been shared.
It is not
Yeah.
because I wanted to read it. I wanted to read it to you.
Well, please read it.
All right. I've lived in the Memphis area since I was 20 years old, so I consider this home. I stumbled upon fitness after coming out of the darkest times I had ever known. Recovering from addiction was one thing, but being left to deal with myself and the world, unable to medicate, was unbearable. For a while, smoking cigarettes was all I had left. One day, while I was hiding on the side of my house, smoking and looking at my 2-year-old's face pressed against the glass, the feeling rushed over me that this just wasn't acceptable. I made the decision to quit and put on over 50 pounds in 1 year. I hated myself and would cry in my car before I had to walk into a commitment, a new low. I began to notice my buddy Wilson and his lady Amanda were running and doing CrossFit. More importantly, I saw my friend, who once had a look similar to mine, grow a twinkle in his eye. I wanted to twinkle. I needed to twinkle. So I downloaded Couch to 5K and hit the pavement. I joined Orange Theory Fitness and Weight Watchers, and over a period of time, I have lost 55 pounds. I've completed many half marathons and one full marathon. This past March, I ran the Big Buffalo 50K and have some upcoming events I'm very excited about. The Big Hill Pond 50K and St. Jude Half are quickly approaching, and the Dopey Challenge in January of 2019. The goal is to keep signing up and showing up, to get better every day and not be so hard on myself. Today, I know the gift is in each moment, not some finish line. My advice to a newcomer is never say never. Sign up for the unattainable and be amazed.
Wow.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. And you and I know each other through 12-step recovery programs. We've gotten to be quite the friends because of it. And you and Amanda have become quite the friends because of it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what
can happen.
What can happen, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. I'm forever grateful for you two, because I'd still be sitting at home stuffing my face and, feeling sorry for myself. And it's just been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, you say things like that, and I'm so humbled to hear them, but I think that it's important that other people hear them, because we certainly weren't aware that you're watching us from afar, and I don't think
Right.
anybody knows that people are watching them from afar. And so every time you go out and do a race, and every time you go out and do an event or show up to do something that you're uncomfortable doing, somebody's watching that, and you don't know what kind of position they're in.
Definitely.
So what did that look like on your day one of signing up? When you decided I'm going to download the Couch to 5K?
If Wilson can do it, I can do it.
I hear you.
I just, honestly, if Wilson can do it, I can do it. And I can at least try. And I honestly thought it would be so easy, but I remember that first day, I think you had to run 30 seconds. And then, you know what I mean? And then you got to walk a minute. And I about died. I could not believe how hard it was for me to run 30 seconds. But then the drive to do better, slowly but sure. At first it was one thing about addiction is, as people, we tend to not finish things that we started. So one thing was that I needed to finish this because, I'm going to start completing things altogether. And then the next came to be, okay, there's no way, I've got to be able to run more than 30 seconds, and I think that program's great personally.
It is.
It's
a fantastic
for a
program.
start.
I remember wanting to throw up during the course of the day leading up to having 2 minutes that I had to run in a row.
Yeah.
And thought, I don't know how I'll ever get through 2 minutes.
Did you
Look
get
at
to
you
a
now.
point
You've
where
worked
you're
up to like 4 minutes of running.
Twice. I can do 2 sets of 4.
Did you get to a point where you're like, okay, I don't even need to do this anymore?
No, I didn't.
You just did the
I
entire
did.
program.
Yeah, and it worked out perfect. My first 5K was the one AJ did. The one's a 10K and one's a 5K, the country store.
Oh, yeah.
5K.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And he was supposed to run it with me and ended up with some stomach flu from hell. So I had to go out there. You were in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I had
Sure
yeah,
enough.
and I
Yeah.
had to go out there by myself and run it, and I was petrified, and I got third in my age group. It was crazy.
Wow.
My very first. There wasn't
That's
a whole lot of
fantastic.
people out
Oh,
there,
don't-
but
don't
I still
downplay it.
got
Don't
still got
downplay
the
it.
medal,
You took third place. That's-
Yeah,
That's
and it was
awesome.
awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing as addicts that we're known to do is, if you can get us to do something,
Yeah.
we'll finish that thing.
Yeah.
But it plays hell to get us to that
Correct.
point. That week that I was in the hospital, the next week was Tunnel Hill.
And you went?
Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't not going to go, but
Yeah.
I remember being in there thinking, this is not.
When was that?
You were sick.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, it was
so
the
sick.
first time we went to Tunnel Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 years ago?
3.
3 years ago?
It'll be 3
3,
years
because
ago.
I've been running 3 years
Yeah.
in October. 3 years.
And so at the point that you did the Couch to 5K, had you already gained all the weight?
I was just starting to lose it.
You're just starting to come
Yeah,
down.
I'd already gained it all.
Have you been on a steady? So you've been steady declining since the time you started fitness. You've stayed into fitness
Yeah.
completely.
Now I get complacent. I've
Sure.
kind of had my highs and lows, but
Yeah.
it's been
None
it's
of
been
us know
pretty.
about that.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
We
Yeah.
don't talk about that every single week.
Yeah.
What's a low?
But isn't it amazing how once you made the decision to start I might be putting words into your mouth, but once you decided to start the Couch to 5K, how everything else just took care of itself?
For sure.
Like you went to a race, you met some people, you met this person, you decide we're going to do this, and that leads to that. And then all of a sudden you're like plugged in.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. So I had no idea any of that background of yours. I knew your name from seeing posts in LHRL or seeing comments in the LHRL community on Facebook, and then started seeing you popping up at races that a bunch of us were at or whatever. And then like the first time I really ever talked to you was maybe this year, my New Year's Day run. And
Yeah.
you were one of the only people that showed up, and I think you and I ran the whole way together and just kind of talked and chatted, and that was the first time I'd really gotten a chance to talk to you. So it was, I just had no idea about all the history and everything else that goes into it, and it just it's interesting to find that part of it, and then also just to see how you've kind of, like Wilson said, kind of made yourself part of the community, and nobody would know that you hadn't been here all along. So
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I got to run a couple of races with her the last month or so, and during one of them, she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. We're going to have to stop doing this. But she was also at the same time telling me about some other things that had happened in the past, and I was like, you can totally do this. Like, this is not anything like any of what you just told me about. Like, and you can run a 11-minute mile if you can handle any of that stuff you've been talking about for the past 30 minutes.
And what he's talking about has actually turned out to be like a really big moment for me, because we were running by the jail, and I'm telling him about the 90 days that my parents let me rot there.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to say
no,
that.
I'm cool with it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're running by Jail East, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I was hanging out, 10 years. And the look on his face is like, and now we're running this, you know what I mean? And it was a very cool, like, full circle moment that, like,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm so
I
grateful to be
literally
not in that
said-
jail.
I literally said, you were in jail.
Come
And now
on.
you're bitching at me about not being able to run for like
We had
another
2 miles
like
left.
2 more minutes or something,
Yeah.
Like,
I think he was lying on the 3-1. I just think he was, anyway. No.
pretty
But
funny.
moments like that are pretty cool, where you're just, to be outside the jail fence, running by it instead of inside. I'm
But you're
eternally grateful.
You're sure to have those moments because you create those moments. That's what you do. Like, it's always fun to run with you because you make sure that you point out, like, this sucks, but being in jail really sucked.
Yeah.
Like, and neither one of us are in jail,
Yeah.
and neither one of us are withdrawing and crapping ourselves, and
Yeah.
neither one of us are.
Well, some runs. Sorry,
Not all the time.
just being honest.
Oh, that's too funny. We won't go too
Yeah,
far into
we
that.
won't.
But yeah, you do an outstanding job of working a program. You're always working with other girls, and you take that very seriously, even when things like podcast invitations come up and you turn them down because you have commitments to work with other people, or races and things like that. And I've always admired how you hold to your commitments, even as something better comes up.
Thank you.
So you've completed the Buffalo 50K.
Yeah, but I think I might have been after Stanky Creek. I kind of feel like that was a tease. Not that it wasn't hard, but like the first 3 miles of that were very flat and on pavement. Does that make sense? So
that's the one out at Shelby Farms.
yeah.
Right?
So I mean, I'm glad. I'm not saying I didn't accomplish something by
I was gonna
doing
say, you still
it.
No,
ran
you
31
can't-
I still
miles,
did it.
so
I'm
it
not-
wasn't,
I'm
what
not
you're saying is
taking anything away, but like compared to, I went into Stanky a little cocky because I did that one like, not I'm going to win.
Everybody was humbled at Stanky.
Yeah.
this year.
Okay. I know. I was crying.
that
That was
yeah.
an incredibly hot race.
But
it would have been a complete, 10, 15 degrees cooler, and you would have had a completely different day.
But also the 50K, the first 50K that you did, the first one, and Shelby Farms was not on trails, right?
It's
Like,
half.
is it-
It's like you run
But
around the lake.
But those aren't very technical trails
No.
either. I mean, they're
And there's like one hill, but it's gravel.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, I
saying I'm
know.
not taking
Yeah.
away anything from it, but comparing
but
the two
Stanky is an actual trail. I
Correct.
mean, like it's not
Well,
a super
it's
easy.
actually technically a mountain bike trail. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot more technical than
So,
Shelby Farms. So,
and it was hot, and everybody was destroyed by
and
that.
you will come back to Snaky Creek next
Oh,
year,
most
and you will sign up
definitely.
for the 50K because next year it's going to be 15, 20 degrees cooler,
Yeah.
and you're going to have an awesome day.
And it doesn't matter what the temperature is, Amanda will not be there.
Absolutely not.
I thought of you with the roots.
You should have come and
Yeah.
hung out with me.
She won't touch that place. She won't even
It's the
walk
roots, right?
She won't
Yeah.
even
You
walk
wanna
under a
get
tree
the
I
stand.
can see that.
I
She
was
won't make
at
it
church. I
past
couldn't
it.
make it. I was going to come and hang out with you guys and just cheer everybody on. But yes, that is the one trail that I will never step foot on again. I ran it, twice or once?
I think just once.
Was
I
it practicing
done
or
with
did you
it.
do the?
No.
You
It's
did
we
the
just went for just a
a
run.
run.
And
Yeah.
She
and
kicked every trail in that park.
You were with.
I mean, every route in there.
was it Mark Fortune? I don't even, Mark Fortune and Kendall.
and Billy Moore.
Was Kendall? Kendall was out there too,
Kendall
right?
and Mark were out and ahead of us. And
All I
it was
know
me,
is
Billy,
you and Billy got away from me
because you scared Billy.
because I was so angry. I was so angry.
Billy was petrified. He didn't know
I
because he
think-
didn't really know you that well.
I think I made like new cuss words up.
Yeah.
Vaughn, do you
So
remember
angry.
going out to Stanky with me when I was still running in Vibrams?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I kicked roots in toe shoes.
That was probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen anybody do.
I was wearing toe shoes.
He was like running
and
in.
kicked,
Did you
and
lose all your
five
toenails?
fingers.
And you let him
kicked
do it.
like
And I
3,
was
4,
like-
5 routes, and we were not even 2 miles in, and
It's
I literally
horrible. It's a
sat
horrible
down. I
trail.
sat down on the trail, and I was like, I'm gonna need a minute. After that.
I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what gives you even the idea that you could
What is
possibly
wrong with you?
run?
That's the worst insult.
Oh my god, that was dumb. That was just dumb.
That is saying a mouthful. He
Yeah.
said that was the dumbest thing he's ever seen anyone do. That's including all the times he's ran with
Right,
me,
right.
Yeah.
all the times he's coached me in the gym, all the times he's just been around
I
me.
agree. That's
Yeah.
just
Leisurely.
right up there. Yeah.
So you
For
can
sure.
see how rooty that
Oh.
trail was. And I don't pick my feet up, so there's
You
just
Right,
no-
at the
right.
time you didn't pick your feet up. You were just coming off of. You just only ran on the road. You hadn't run on the trail. But I
That's
mean,
true.
you do trails fine. Just at that time, and you've got it stuck in your head, and that's cool. Like I'm not going
You know
out
what?
there,
Yeah.
therefore she ain't going out there.
I just realized we're now going to get a 1-star review from some guy that's out there that runs barefoot
Yeah.
on the trail or something like that.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Just me talking about running in the Vibrams, and then you talking about barefoot. The first year I did Sillamore, 25K, there's a guy that literally ran barefoot.
No
Man.
way.
I don't.
Not in.
I don't even believe that.
I'm not. I mean, I saw his feet. I'm
Yeah, I
not
wonder
lying.
if he made it all the way. Like, I don't even-
He was struggling. So when we go past for the 25K turnaround, we go past the aid station. You go up the mountain and down.
Yeah.
Like the gravel road. He was dying on that gravel road
Oh
because
my
I mean
gosh.
it's literally
can't-
gravel, and I don't know how it's not.
There's so
cutting
many
into your
sharp
feet.
rocks on that
Yeah.
Yeah.
trail.
But he had made it almost to the turnaround. I mean, because I got out in front of him, I made it to the turnaround, and I came back, and he was coming down the hill.
Your feet have to be bleeding when you get done with that.
Oh,
The way he
that
was-
guy had to have gone in that the night before thinking, I'm going to impress these people. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to be the coolest guy in
I
the
just
world.
read
He's in a-
barefoot running. It's this is what I'm supposed to do.
Did he have a American flag Speedo on?
now
I was
he's
just
in
about to say that.
He's been in a wheelchair probably ever since that race.
Probably has.
I mean, he
Never-
could
he
have piled
never ran
himself
again.
up for life. That is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's slightly worse than running in Vibrams.
Wow.
Anyways, sorry, you were going to say something, Wilson.
Well, Melisa has never said no to anything. And she said that. You tell me what race to run, I'll sign up for it. You tell me what event y'all are doing, and I'll sign up for it. And she has. And
Stupidity.
it's awesomeness.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you said at the end of your
You found your clan.
bio.
Definitely.
It's just that people need to do that. And have you ever been steered wrong?
No.
I mean, would you have ever signed up for any of these things? Have you ever gone into any of these distance events and thought, I'm prepared 100%?
Never.
Of course not.
Not even a 5K.
You just but you continue to sign up and do
Yeah.
them. And I think that it's just hard for anybody to understand that once you sign up and you get to the race day, it's so much different than like walking out your back door on a Tuesday night and knowing that you have to go
Well, and
do a
nobody's
training
saying
run.
it's easy, and nobody's saying it's going to be without its challenges, and afterwards you're not going to be sore or anything like that. But you've never not accomplished what you set out to do, kind of thing, and you haven't found those limits of your body yet. So why would you? You know, when you've got somebody like Wilson inspiring you, basically, like if he can run 50 miles, then a lot of other people can too, kind of thing.
Well,
So-
she's kind of I've gotten to help her a little bit over the last month or so, and tried to help a little bit anyway. And it's an experience when you have an athlete that it really needs you to tell them what to do. Like, I want to hear what you want to tell me to do because I want to go do it. Mm-hmm. And then there's another person who's wired in a way that's like, it doesn't matter what you're going to tell me. I'm either not going to do it or I'm going to do it and then do 20,000 other things. And that is a terrible experience. The fun experience is when you can talk to somebody and be like,
Stop pointing at me.
I was going to say for those at home, Wilson's pointing at himself, raising his hand. Right?
But
Amanda's pointing at me.
Anyway, what I mean is it's such a pleasure to help someone like Melisa, where it's like these things that I'm about to tell her to do, she's actually going to listen to it and go do it. You know what I mean? You can just tell that about her and people like her.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
She's better as a result of it. I mean, the great example, this road race series that we're doing, first 5 miler you did on your own, right? And what was your time at the first 5 miler?
Oh, like an hour 6, right?
An hour and
to break
6,
an
and
hour.
she wanted to be under an hour. 2 weeks later, Vaughn shows up with her and he says,
We ran 56 minutes.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to pace you
57.
through this. And I mean, the weather wasn't significantly different. There wasn't a
was
very
still hot.
significant change other than you having him there beside you to say, okay, we're running now, we're walking now, we're running now, we're walking now. And you cut 10 minutes off your time 2 weeks later. So
Yeah.
the only difference is you just had somebody to coach you through it and help you.
Right, and that's a very fun experience. You know what I mean? Like for me anyway. Like when you can actually see that you're helping somebody because they're doing what you asked them to do, that's an incredible thing, you know.
It's got to be really fulfilling.
Yeah.
I think I've said on this podcast before that Melisa is as tough as the toughest person out there all the time. And when you and I have ran together, if I want to drag us down, then you can be easily drugged down. And if I want to push us ahead, you'll keep up with whatever.
Very true.
Even with every F-bomb you can put in tow and push down the line, but you'll do it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I love that about you. Now, you had signed up for the Tunnel Hill 50 miler this year,
did.
but your daughter Charlotte is going to be probably one of the better
doorknob.
performing doorknobs ever to be in Beauty
Alice
and
in
the Beast.
Wonderland.
Alice in
Okay.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
She will be the doorknob in Alice in Wonderland. So,
And that
how can you miss that?
that's on Broadway, I'm assuming.
It is Collierville Broadway.
Collierville Broadway.
Yeah, Collierville
Same
Broadway.
difference.
But I got to gift my thing to TJ. I gave him my number bib or whatever.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm grateful that
That's awesome.
you know, because he's been working hard and so I'm grateful that he gets to go and my year will be next year.
Well, and that's another
That's pretty
example of
good.
what I'm talking about. I would, if Andy was going to be the doorknob, I would probably make sure the grandparents were there, and I would go run my race selfishly.
Yeah.
And you've got your priorities in check.
Well, the thing about that is her with the whole theater thing, it's the most confident I've ever seen her. You know what I mean? She's done softball, she's done basketball, she cries, but the theater, she tries out, she shows up, she loves it, and she's confident. So who am I to not support? You know what I mean? Like,
That's awesome.
I'll do whatever I got to do
That's awesome.
to support that. But I'm still going to do, are you doing the 50K? Big?
Yeah,
Big,
I
good.
am.
We can chase her.
But I'm not even
I know.
going there.
I ran with her before, I know.
Not at all.
I said chase. Not,
No, we'll run together probably because
We had all three done a 50K or done some race, and it was terrible, and we all felt so bad. And
we did the nautical 10. What
Was
is
that it?
Yeah, in
and
June.
I saw
three.
you the next day at our meeting.
Yeah.
And you said, "How's Amanda?" And I said, "She's fine. She went up and worked out this morning." And you're like, "Of course she did. Of course she did. That's just like her. She's just
know.
perfectly fine. Didn't even bother." She said, "Next time I see her, I'm going to trip her." And then you said, "And I'll fall and break my leg."
Well, the
exactly
nautical
what I
10
said.
miler is like in the middle of June, and it's actually
hot.
like
Oh,
13
so
miles or
hot.
something.
It was
Yeah,
hot.
It's not.
Yeah, that race starts at like 6 a.m. because
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
like
hot. It's
11
Tupelo.
and some change. It was hot.
it was hot.
Yeah.
By the end of it, it was hot.
You think you'd still be sober if you didn't start running?
I do. But I think it's my emotional sobriety is where I think it's really,
Yeah.
yeah.
How long have you been sober?
God willing, 6 years next month,
6 years next month.
Yay.
November 10th.
All
Have
right.
you had any relapses?
No, sir.
I mean, prior to,
Yeah.
did you come in and
3.
out?
So maybe it has. I never thought of that. I've gotten a year or two twice.
Have you made that long?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Not many people stay sober for an amount of time.
No.
What is special about November 10th?
That was the last day I had a drug.
No, I mean, why
Oh.
was that like a birthday, or was it like a
Yeah, why November 10th?
like why'd you pick that day? Was it a Monday?
No, I started
Okay.
outpatient, and they were going to drug test me because I had every intention of carrying on. The last thing I messed up on was diet pills. Basically, I was on speed, on phentermine and stuff all the time, and they were going to start drug testing me at the outpatient treatment. So I stopped because I knew that.
Did you go into how did you get it? Did you go to rehab inpatient?
Outpatient this time.
What got you to rehab? Like what did the day look like that you hit your bottom and said, I've got to do something about this?
It was my now husband. I'd gotten found out again, and he was very, very mad. We had to move
Y'all
out.
were both sober together.
Yeah, he'll have 11 years in April, and we lived I was an assistant apartment manager, and we lived where I worked, and why I had to go to jail was because of that place. So I got fired.
Going into apartments and taking pills from there?
Yeah.
I always thought that'd be a great thing to do.
Oh man, I had the key to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Well,
know
you
what I
could
mean?
just go in. I'm sorry, I'm
Maintenance.
idiot, but like you just go in and
Yeah.
like somebody's got
Toilet's
some pills,
broken.
you just swipe them and
Yeah.
you're on your way.
No cameras, no,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, like now a lot of people have, but anyway, so
I do multiple from landscape. I knew
Yeah.
multiple apartment managers that lost their jobs for that.
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it was bad. And so, I made more money, so we lost our income. We had 1 week to find somewhere to live. We lost our health insurance. I had a 2-year-old little girl this time, and he was mad. You know what I mean? And but he wanted me to go away to inpatient treatment because he wanted me to suffer and, pay some consequences. But
Because he knows what's up.
correct. And when I went to talk to the lady that runs the treatment center, her name's Charlotte. That's who I named my daughter after her.
Is that really
Yeah,
what she's
the lady
named
that
after?
runs
Wow.
Grace House, because I just have so much respect for her. And, I was crying to her, telling her I'd done it again, blah, 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 blah. And she said, Melisa, you come to treatment to hide. I'm not letting you come back in here. You're going to do outpatient. You're going to stay in the world, and you're going to learn how to be a young lady and work the 12 steps and blah, 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 blah. And it stuck
That's awesome.
that time.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me do. No, I could have found somewhere else, but I trusted her. You know what I mean? Like, she was right. I was a kid, and I needed to grow up and clean up my own mess.
How important is that, really?
She saved my life.
I said earlier that you've always said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Correct.
And that is sobriety. You get sober. And I was like, I reached a point where I was like, I don't give a damn. Whatever you tell me to do, man. If you want me to make my bed, I'll make my bed.
Yeah.
If you want me to do my laundry, I'll do my laundry. Go check my mail. None of this makes any sense to me, but none of what I was doing before made any sense.
But I appreciate that you do all this.
You appreciate what?
That he
That he does
this.
all that.
But Amanda will tell you I make the bed. I make my bed every day.
Yeah.
And my making of the bed is not because I want a made up bed, but it's symbolic of my recovery, and it's time to be grateful. When I'm making my bed, I'm happy about making my bed.
Because you have a bed.
Because I have a
Correct.
bed to sleep on, because
yeah.
I'm sober, and I wake up every morning, I just can't believe I'm sober. I cannot believe I'm sober. And making my bed gives me the time to remind me of that, because otherwise I kind of can't believe I'm sober, but I'm also really busy and I got stuff to do. And then before I know it, I'm all twisted into circles, and then, I got my face in a pile of pills somewhere.
Yeah.
And it all just happens so fast. And things like that, I think, are important. And you add fitness into that mix, and it's really tough to beat.
Well, now that you've said that, I've kind of been thinking about it, and the way I kind of explain it is, I feel like people like us are kind of walking around with a hole, and you may like meth, and you may like pills, and that we just choose different things to stuff it with. And when you get sober, you have to find something positive to stuff it with. And I bet you that is what fitness has done for me this time around, is something positive to fill that hole. It's like a soul
It's a
sickness.
Well, I've seen it
Healthy
happen
addiction.
with a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, you and I were talking
I
about.
mean, you are definitely addicted to something new now.
Correct.
Which is fitness, and I think that's awesome.
Uh-huh.
But it's an amazing thing to see that happen, and how well fitness can serve people like you in that respect. So I'm extremely moved by it. It's pretty cool.
And it's funny that people will argue that aren't you just trading one addiction for
Who
the other?
even
And it's like,
cares?
what difference? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I can use
But
your
I'm gonna have
bathroom
one.
without robbing you blind.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Let me
happy
run.
about
Yeah.
this. And I think that you can fill that hole with something other than drugs or alcohol for only so long, depending on what that something is. And a lot of times that something is recovery.
Right.
You can get into recovery and, hey, I'm recovering and I'm going to be Mr. 12 stepper and I'm going to sponsor people and this and that. And I think that it's important that you find something to do outside of that.
I agree.
Because the program is recovery, but it's not all of your recovery. I think it's like playing on a sports team, and you practice and you love the sport and you love to practice, but you don't ever get to play a game. And sooner or later you're going to get tired of practicing and there's no game to play.
So have you all stopped doing that kind of thing, like helping people and
No.
sponsoring
No.
people, or you just don't do it as much, or you just add fitness into that whole mix?
I've added it personally. It's a balance between, like, my family comes first, daughter, you know what I mean, husband comes first, and then there's recovery. I'm also a full-time college student. I work full-time, so you can only. So for me, it's like but helping others is always always has to be and always will be a major priority.
Right.
And that comes and goes in waves, kind of
Yeah.
depending on who you place yourself in front of that needs help. The answer is always yes. If somebody needs a sponsor, if somebody needs somebody to talk to, then I'd have 30 sponsees. And I've had times where I've had 12. And you feel like you're spending your entire day answering the phone and talking to somebody who just wants to complain. But that's people need people to complain to. And then, there's times like now when I have 2, sometimes 3, depending on, what they get into that day. But, always being open to that. And I know you have sponsees and you're always close to the program.
Yeah.
And at Grace House and speaking.
That's part of the recovery, though. That's part of how they continue to recover.
Okay.
And that's not as much for it. Sure, it's for the other person, but it's because I get too far away from this program and I don't stand a chance. I mean, I love.
You need to see somebody coming out of it and the suffering.
Yeah.
Is it kind of that?
Yeah.
The reminder.
Yeah.
Is that really
Keeps it
part of
green.
what it is?
It is.
And somebody did it for us.
Correct.
So you
Right.
pay it
Pay
forward.
it forward. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
And then you said Grace House?
That's where I went through.
Okay.
It's an all women's
Okay.
facility.
Is that a free facility?
It is.
Has it always been free?
It has from the start.
And so you just show up there and go.
You have to call, and they do an intake process, and you have to call every day because I think it's 23 beds, and there's a whole lot of people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you call every day, and one day when you call, they're like, "Be here tomorrow at 8," and you show up,
wow.
and then
Okay.
you can stay there.
If I'm not mistaken, it's not the Hilton.
No.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I was thinking it's
No,
free, so it's probably
down on Bellevue, and literally at family visitation, there's been gunshots, and they've made us come in. Like, I've been outside with my parents, and it's next to a crack house apartment. Like, but they're all on grants and donations. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's one of the only places you can come in with literally nothing, and they will clothe you, feed you, and love you till you love yourself, basically.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great Grace House in Memphis.
And it's a unique experience to be put in front of people like that so regularly who have nothing
Right.
and by all accounts won't ever amount to anything, and then they do, and not only do they amount to something, but they're responsible for God only knows how many people's recovery.
Right.
And it's it's what I think about when I'm on the trail or in the woods. Like, you're not totally screwed. We've seen what totally screwed looks like. And we're always so far away from that. Always so far away. So what plans do you have coming up for big races?
The Big Hill
Big Hill
Pond.
Pond.
Big Hill Pond.
It's actually called the Walking Tall
Oh,
50K.
Walking
Isn't-
Tall.
I learned that because I was
Walking Tall 50K at Big Hill Pond.
Yes,
State
I
Park.
was
Okay.
doing Twitter and Instagram, and I realized I was talking about the Big Hill Pond 50K, Big Hill Pond 50K, and then I went over to Facebook and saw that Sean or somebody was talking about the walking tall 50K. And I thought, oh, rats! I did it all wrong.
Oh, I always called it Big Hill Pond.
Me too.
Sorry.
I
But
didn't
I
know.
think so. I think it's called the.
That's the name of the park.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Walking
Walking Tall 25K, 50K at Big Hill
It
Pond
is
State
at
Park.
Big Hill Pond. Yeah.
And it's going to be a piece of cake.
I'm excited.
Oh man,
Did
can we
you-
talk? Can we talk about that for a second?
You guys didn't
Like,
go, right?
should.
Because you were
I didn't
camping.
go.
We
Did you go?
did not go
No.
do the 25K.
No, we were
cruise.
I was
busy
afraid if I
drinking.
went, I wouldn't go back.
Let me
so
just
this past
say,
weekend
so-
there
Did you
was a 25K course preview.
I did not, but Dr. Croft, I went to see him because I've got some plantar fasciitis in my left foot. I told him that was my next big race coming up, and he goes, "Man, that's going to be a hard one of the hardest ones." I was like, "Crap!"
And he's
Well,
super
But
fit.
he is super
Yeah.
fit and runs.
And there's several people that came back from it. Dawn, TJ, a couple of people that basically said like it makes like Ouachita look easy. It
Oh, no.
makes Stanky Creek look easy.
Ouachita is probably the hardest one.
But
I've
I'll tell
ever
you
ran.
what, TJ saying that it made Ouachita look like a flat
Yeah.
piece of asphalt pavement, just I discount
It,
anything. he has
it
said.
really
All the way.
irritates me when people say that when they
It's
use
stupid.
when they use Ouachita as a comparison. They say, "Oh, that makes that Ouachita look easy." I don't normally get down with that immediately.
You can't get down on that on
Like-
any level.
Like if somebody says, "Well, I went and did the Western States 100," and that makes Ouachita look
Yes.
easy, I'm like, yeah,
So-
probably.
you know what I
so I'll gi-
compare
I'll give you-
TJ's? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll give you Dawn's feedback.
Yeah.
Hers was just basically like she's gonna keep going, but she's worried about time capping the 50K.
We ran a 5K out there, and I went and ran, I guess, 8 more miles or 6 more miles, and it sucks. I mean, it's hard. But to say that it makes Ouachita look easy
I
or
get it.
flat
Yeah, so-
is the same thing as
just-
every year people saying, when you cross that creek at Stillmore,
It's all
gonna-
downhill.
It's going to be waist high. You know, you're going to need a rope to get across it. You got to enter it a half mile ahead because the current's going to carry you, you know, all the way down, and it's up to your ankles.
Right.
Won't be long now. It's all downhill.
So, yeah, it's
But-
going to be hard.
Yeah. So I think Dawn. What'd she tell me? I think she said it took 4.5, 5 hours to do the 25K course preview, and it's a 9-hour cutoff for the 50K.
If
So-
something takes me 4.5 hours to do the first half, it's going to take me 6.5 to do the second half.
Correct.
that's kind of the point. That's why I'm saying she's worried about time capping.
Yeah.
And
Don't
she's,
worry about it. Y'all are
I'm
she's
not worried.
having-
I'm not worried about it at all. I'll just
She's having
go
a great
until I
year
can.
right now. She's
Yeah.
running
She's on
well.
fire.
Yeah,
She's
She
Dawn's
on
really
fire.
is.
So for
If-
that's why
if
I'm
Dawn's
saying
having a
if
problem
Dawn
with
if
it-
Dawn's saying, "Wow," then it's definitely something.
I
to not go
understand
in
what
too
you're
lightly.
saying. Like she is on fire and she's doing well, but people have a thing like in their head that like they want to say that it's harder than it really is.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. You
Yes, they
think
do.
it's hard. Like I'll go and run a 5K. I'm trying to think of a good example of what I'm trying to say. I'll go, oh my God, this sucks, and I'm running really slow. But then I'm done with it, and it was like an 8-minute pace, and I'm like,
I
oh,
didn't even realize it.
that really sucked, but I did really well. You know what I mean? And so what you're saying about Dawn is that she's just getting to be a better athlete, and she's pushing herself harder than she normally would. That was probably really hard, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad day on race day.
We'll all make it through. We'll all make it as far as we can, and when they tell us we can't go any further, then
We'll
we're
go
done.
further anyways.
Then we right.
That's
Because
right.
Vaughn's going to let us
But
go.
because
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut you off. But I'm not the last person, I'm sure. So
Well, I'm sure I'll be looking by that point. If it's as bad as everybody says it's going to be, I'll be looking for somebody to pull me off the course anyway, just begging for
I'm at the railroad tracks, whatever that means.
somebody.
Do we get a ride
Railroad
back?
crossing.
Yeah, if they pull you
sure
at the
they
aid
will.
station,
Kidding.
They have to give you a ride back.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
Wherever I get pulled,
I'm
then
getting a ride.
then my race is over.
Yeah.
Like somebody,
walking back.
they're responsible from an
In a
insurance.
way.
I
standpoint.
still
Now that
remember.
we-
I still remember earlier this year at Silmore that those jerks wouldn't pull us from the course.
That's what I'm saying. I would have been. I was begging somebody. I was,
Seriously, tell me
I was
that I'm not allowed to
basically
continue.
doing sign language like pull,
Yeah.
like help, and they weren't picking up, throwing smoke signals.
Now that I think about it, maybe I kind of hope I do get to pull people off the course, because then I can drive somebody back and be like, "It's okay, you can do it. You can come back next year and do it."
He
And they'll be
is
like,
a little.
"Look, I
he's
ran
still a little
this one."
sensitive about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's talking about,
Ouachita.
Melissa? When
The
he got
Ouachita,
pulled
where
from
he's taking-
Ouachita,
yeah.
and the lady said that he'd be fine.
funny.
Maybe,
So
maybe
when are you
someday.
running again?
St. Jude.
St. Jude.
Marathon.
Are you doing the half?
Yes, you're the one who taught me to do
Okay,
that.
good.
He's
all
a
your
full. He's
fault.
a full-time inspirer. He can't be out there on the course when people are relying on him.
He's
to,
a stoker.
He
That's
did
right.
such a good
I'm
job at
stoking.
at Stanky that
He really did.
people need him.
Yeah.
Melissa's the reason I'm doing the half marathon at St. Jude because I wasn't going to do St. Jude this year because we were doing Dopey. So it's all her fault.
All right. Good.
Speaking of which, people need to go look you up on the St. Jude Heroes page
Yes,
and
they
donate
do.
some money, and
Thank you.
myself as well.
Thank you,
So
Vaughn.
go and look me and Amanda up and throw some money
Amanda
into our
Horrell.
St.
It goes
Jude.
to a good cause.
Yep.
The best cause.
Tomorrow we have the 24-hour race.
We do. So excited.
I am so excited.
I hate that you tried to pre-injure yourself to get out of this.
I know, but that's past. That's done.
I was
over.
going to
It's
say
behind
something
us.
about it. I was like, you're already priming everybody for a, I'm not going to
Exactly. That's like,
Y'all
like,
can suck
I'm
it.
just gonna
I
run.
didn't
I'm just
say
gonna. I'm
anything.
just
I
gonna.
didn't-
I'm gonna selflessly run. I'm gonna volunteer for our rogue aid station.
You're
that
going to
we
pull a
have.
Vaughn.
No way. No way. I don't roll like that. I don't say I'm going to sign up for this and then go down to that. I'm going. But I was in
You're
a
not gonna
bad
pull a
state.
Mark Fortune?
I was in a bad state of affairs yesterday.
I was seriously worried
I took
about
a
you.
bad. You were not worried about me.
I was worried.
No, you weren't.
Who asked about you this morning?
Big thirsty ass about me this morning.
I did.
Amanda took good care of me. It turns out that if you put ice on things and take,
So all of us should marry a doctor.
things like that, then they work. You just kind of get it in your head that, like, my knee hurts, I need like 14 Oxycontin and to, go lay in bed. For a
Oxycontin and
week.
vodka is not the cure for a hurt knee.
It
Vaughn,
helps.
okay, so Sean Hilston says Vaughn is the captain of the cutoff at mile 26 at the railroad tracks at 2:30 p.m.
We're in. That's
Have
huge.
the power.
You need a big clock
That's
and a gong.
huge. We just gotta make it to 26.
I have a gong.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean
Don't let
just
us
made
down.
my day.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be
I'm
something.
gonna buy you an air horn.
Take
so
the
you can just,
gong
like,
from the gym.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring the gong. The gong needs to be brought.
Yes.
And do you have a welder?
I do.
We need to fix it and bring the gong.
Well,
Anyways, 24-hour race tomorrow though.
it's going to be dynamite.
Kate's
I-
going to join our group. That's
Kate's
awesome.
going to be with us.
I'm still excited about the race. My day has gotten a little derailed. I'm not going to be there at the start of the race.
What time are you going to be there?
I should be able to leave work by 4:30. So, and I work like 5 minutes away.
Oh,
You work 5 minutes away.
Yes.
Okay, I
I
feel
was
better.
wondering why you were bringing that tent
You were
at
offering to
lunch.
bring that 10
Yeah.
at lunch,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking that
I
you
thought you
worked
were
downtown.
downtown.
No, I live downtown.
Well, I thought
work
you
out
like
east.
lived next door to where you work for some reason.
Yeah, I did too.
No, I work at International Place, so I'm right around the corner from
Okay,
the church.
that's great.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a big deal at all.
Yeah, you set that tent up.
Yeah.
Good.
You handle that tent.
So I'm gonna go over there at lunch. I'll set up the LHRL tent.
Where are we
I'll set
at?
up my tent. He gave me the pad number, which I'm assuming they'll have marked once I get out there.
Yep, and she said there's a number 8, and lift heavy run long is written underneath. It's real easy, and
Number 9.
9, and she'll be there. And
And so,
she's easy to find.
my tent will literally be able to be moved wherever. So I mean, I'll put it all together, but if it's not where you want it, then you guys can just kind of pick it up and move it. somewhere
All right.
else kind of
I
thing.
hope it's
So-
not directly under the power lines like we were last year.
These power lines are
You can hear them.
popping off
Yeah.
so
You,
bad.
they vibrate your body when
if
you're
you if you touch a metal pole, there's people out there with battery cables grounding their tents because if it's aluminum, it'll
What?
shock you.
Yes.
That's insane.
It is insane,
Remember that
dude. I'm
tent-
not kidding.
that
I
tent
don't
was
mean like a
shocking
little
us.
pop. I mean like it will hit you.
Our tent was shocking us. Remember, we were trying to take it down. You can only
Okay.
hold on to it for so long, and it
Perhaps
would,
they need to move this to another location.
You know, in Tommy Boy when he's like, "Did you live under power lines or something as a kid or
That's a
something?"
real
Paint
thing.
It must be as a real thing.
Yeah, okay.
Powerful.
So 24-hour race. This starts the weekend of insanity
Yes,
for me.
it does.
This is officially ultra season for me because starting whatever time I get there, I was going to say starting at 3, but the race starts at 3. We're going to be doing this 24-hour race. We are leaving East Memphis at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning to head downtown to do either a 5K or 10K, the Chris Hope Foundation 5K, 10K. We will finish up there. We will come back out east, finish up the 24-hour race. And then after that, we are getting a small break. And then on Sunday, I get up and go out to Shelby Forest to run 10-miler out there with a weight vest on.
And not even close. You don't get a small break. You go from the 24-hour race at 3 to dinner at 5:30 to Harry Potter at the Orpheum at 7. And should we talk about the fact that y'all just kicked me out of the clan altogether?
So I'm going to say this is worth it, and this is why I'm going to sleep a little bit tomorrow night, because I have to stay awake for this Harry Potter thing.
What about when
So
your
we
own
are
wife is like negotiating?
I did not negotiate. Brittany took it upon herself to text me
She
that.
told some people that she was embarrassed about the way that I was going to be walking and that I'd probably fall asleep during Harry Potter. So she
I did say something about you possibly would fall asleep during Harry
didn't
Potter.
want me to go to Harry Potter.
I did not say that.
I think the way she worded it is that you would probably be grateful if somebody was willing to take your place.
I told Brittany sent me a text and she said, "So is it definitely cool that I take your spot?" I said, "I will beat you to death if you back out of it." Perfect. I couldn't be more excited about Brittany going with y'all too.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So the race ends at 3. We got to basically tear down the tents or burn them in place, whatever we're going to do so that we don't have to put them up. Run home, shower. We have to be at dinner downtown by 5:30, which is convenient for me.
I'm going to have to probably leave early
And
Yeah.
then
to get a shower back here.
and then the show's at 7:30, and basically we're watching the first Harry Potter movie with an orchestra playing all the music from the movie.
Yes,
a
the
live
Sorcerer's
orchestra.
Stone.
Well, if you need to get some rest, I'll be ready to leave tomorrow about 7 p.m. and come home and then go to Chris Holmes' thing and come on back. All right, that's it. We're out of time. Lift Heavy Run Long number 117 is in the books. Thank you, Melisa.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
having me.
Boom.